Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the IC PAX East Qualifier, an awesome tournament where we decide which teams are going to qualify for our big tournament going in at PAX East. But, of course, I'm Nick Axlav-Ranish, joined by Megan Zagnabo. And today this is the third day of the IC PAX East Qualifier. We started with 8 teams. We'll eventually work our way down to the final 2 to get all expenses paid trip to a $25,000 prize pool tournament being held at PAX East. The winning team of this qualifier also gets an additional $500. It's kind of an icing on the cake prize for getting first place instead of second. Before we get more into the tournament structure, here's a video from Megan detailing basically the basics of Infinite Crisis for those of you who aren't as familiar with the game.
So Infinite Crisis is a 5v5 MOBA set in the DC universe. It's highly competitive, based around just being balanced and fun. There are in-game objectives that let you just basically blow up the world. No matter who you are, Green Lantern, Batman, the Joker, you can pick up cars, you can pick up meteors, throw them, create your own path, and it's just all about being, being the best at what you do, but also helping out your teammates. So for those of you who haven't heard, Infinite Crisis is finally opening its open beta, coming in March 14th. We've got 3 heroes that we're releasing all at once. So Aquaman, he's going to be a really neat blaster that has all these different abilities he can use with his ultimate. We're also coming out with Green Arrow, who's really exciting around this time. He's going to be the final marksman to join. I know you guys have all really wanted this marksman to be entering. And we also have Mecha Superman, who's a mechanical version of Superman that has a really tragic backstory that you should probably do some research on. So at PAX East, we're going to be having this 25K tournament for the pros and also a 5K amateur tournament that anybody, so that means you, can sign up for and have a chance to win. So the qualifiers for the tournament that we're doing right now for PAX East is going to give 2 open spots for people to contend against titans like Dignitas EU and Complexity. So if you want any part of this, you best come to PAX East and we'll see you there.
There you have it, guys. Thank you, Megan. Of course, you can tell it's a 5-on-5 MOBA game. Superheroes and supervillains. Pick your favorite DC character to play and go at it in battle mode. But now let's take a look at the bracket of the tournament so far. We can see here our 8 teams. On our first 2 playdays, we saw Clever Gaming Blight take down Templar Gaming Reckless. And also we saw Field Team 6 take down Aware Academy in a matchup. In the first 15 minutes, they looked like they were being bossed around. Then they really turned the game around and kind of went into turbo mode. Of course, that'll be one of our semifinals in the winner bracket. Today we're going to determine who one of the teams will be in the other semifinal. Of course, today's match, Vexx Gaming against Absolute Legends.
Both of these are actually big names. Vexx Gaming in one of the prior tournaments, and Absolute Legends now from North America, also dominating the European scene. Yeah,
Absolute Legends is trying to take over everywhere now with their North American division. That team used to be called Nonstop Gaming. They've also picked up African, who used to play for Clever Gaming Origins. But before we get into more details on the team rosters, why don't we take a look at the schedule of this whole qualifier so you can figure out what dates you got to mark off on your calendar and be sure to tune in. We can see today, March 5th, Vexx versus Absolute Legends. Tomorrow, we're going to have Clever Gaming face off their Clever Gaming Syndicate team against the Clever Gaming Origins. And of course, next week, we'll go into winner semifinals. The week after, we're going to get into winner bracket final and start going into loser bracket. And that week, we'll again finish up the entire tournament going to the grand finals. But today you can see Vexx Gaming versus Absolute Legends, and that's going to be a pretty cool match. We can take a look at some of the team rosters right here. First off, we're going to take a look at Vexx Gaming. We have Crashy. He's someone who's very active on the forums, a really cool dude, or was very dedicated in the community.
He's known for his troll builds.
He is. He does like to have fun with the game. Joined by Bros, Fatal Uno, The Tick, Stothio, and Asylum Kanata.
Asylum Kanata is actually also one of our featured streamers. I would say Crashy is one of our featured streamers, but I don't want him to get a big head on. No, he really is. I just can't stand his power damage Nightmare Batman.
It's really scary. Why don't we take a look at the other team roster really quickly. From Absolute Legends, we're going to have Brojo, MXL123, African, Akio, Soundbite, Zod, and Floetic. And in fact, we're already in the game. We can take a look at some of their picks and the drafts. We can see here we do have Absolute Legends going with Catwoman, which we haven't seen yet in this tournament. That should be really fun. Also, Poison Ivy, Nightmare Batman, Gaslight Batman, and one of my favorites, Flash.
Ooh, my goodness. So Oh yeah, okay. So the marksmen are split. Poison Ivy going again. You know, we're not ever going to not see Poison Ivy.
No.
Is that the case? And I think a lot of them, it makes sense for them to be pointed out as favorites, but it is a good point. I'm really interested in seeing the Catwoman play. I don't think I've ever seen License play Flash, so that's also something I'm kind of looking forward to. A Freakin', aka African, going for the Nightmare Batman teleport. I wonder what that's all about.
You know, I wonder if he's going to use that. We can see, in of course, in last week's games, as well as what we've seen in Gotham Divided, surveillance cameras are extremely important. We can see both teams are going to be deploying surveillance cameras. And one thing he might do is if there's surveillance cameras everywhere, and he sees a lane being pushed, he could teleport to a surveillance camera wherever he wants to, and be right there to get a great gank off with his ultimate. Another team, even if they have good vision, if he comes out of nowhere so fast, they may not be prepared. You mentioned License Plate playing Flash, and License Plate usually plays Joker.
Or Mecha Wonder Woman.
Or Mecha Wonder Woman. But Mecha Wonder Woman, of course, is banned for this tournament, and Joker was taken by Vexx. So perhaps Flash is his next favorite champion. We'll have to see how he does with Flash.
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been inspiration from your play, you know?
We'll see.
Don't be so modest.
I do like the Flash, but again, I'm not on the pro teams. Well, although we have seen Flash with a lot of play, so yeah. They obviously think I've always thought he's one of the strongest champions. And in our last match, we saw Flash be incredibly powerful. I mean, Nick, who played Flash for Field Team 6 in the last match. He starts out slow. It's so hard for the first 3, 4, 5 levels. But then once you get about 3 items maxed out, once you get that Starheart maxed out, once you have, you know, your Fatality's Energy Lance, and maybe you don't even really need the Side Scimitar. That's more of basically as soon as you get Starheart maxed out, you can start one-shotting people. Yeah,
totally true. Yeah. You know who can also one-shot, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it, is Brojo on Catwoman. I saw your cursor floating up towards it. You knew exactly what I was going to say. The Whip Strike can actually crit and apply on-hit effects. So I would imagine that Catwoman, if not support Cat, will be going to a solo lane for that experience. Being a good little doobie and helping out her friend in the jungle. I don't know. Asylum Kanata is making a mad dash for that mid lane. Don't know if it's just kind of to hang out there or to maybe throw a camera up and see if we can get that. Actually, we haven't actually mentioned it at any point, but there's a beacon that gives you free surveillance cameras that recharge every 3 minutes, which is really cool to take. Just, you know, literally for free. There's only 3 in the beginning, so you'll want to divvy them out to each lane, ideally, and you can only have 1 buff on you per any time. So it looks like Joker and Cyborg actually just recalled. There's a known fact that you can get credits in the beginning of the match to like complete the next tier of one of the vials or the health or will packs. And I think a lot of people, they kind of establish themselves in the lane and don't bother going back. But it's cool to see people doing that, be a lot more proactive instead of just lazing about and hanging out in the lanes.
You know what you can do is you can just go out early, put down all your surveillance cameras, and then you go back, pick up, like you said, finish off the health packs, and you can still get back into the lanes or into jungle by the time either the jungle drones start emerging or the lane drones start pushing. You know, one thing before we see too much action, I want to kind of point out here is throughout these games, we've seen a lot of different kind of beliefs on what starting item to pick. We saw one of the teams in an earlier match go pretty much their whole team went Medusa's Mask early on. Mm-hmm. And now we're seeing a lot of nil weapons even on Flash, who is an interesting guy to pick the nil weapon on. Both teams are using multiple nil weapons. Here we've got, you know, 2 nil weapon starting items. We've got a nil ring. We've got going Marauder items for crashing the jungle. And then, of course, we also have Bros going for the Medusa Mask.
It's really interesting having all those options for you because it's not just, oh, everybody get nil or everybody get Medusa Mask. It works differently for everybody else that does it. So we're seeing Flash once again in a solo lane. License plate against Cyborg, though. That's a natural disadvantage right off the bat. At least that's what my gut says. He's already
got every last hit so far in the lane, so he's actually doing really well. But I would have to say, you're right normally, but their Cyborg's not playing very aggressively, so Flash is able to collect a lot of credits here. And I think even though it's hard to play Flash in the solo lane and you often fall behind early, I almost think you have to. Because Flash is a hero you really want to get him leveled up. He kind of becomes one of your carries late game. So it's tough in the solo lane, but it's almost like, well, you might as well take the pain early and have a strong late game.
Nightmare Batman, some early presence in the top there against that Joker. He was putting the hurt on Catwoman, but I don't know. Yeah.
Nightmare Batman, be careful. Joker's on him, and Mr. Punchy. Nightmare Batman's taking a lot of damage. African taking some abuse, but The Joker's a little bit scared because if he commits to attack African, Catwoman coming behind him just like this, and he could be in trouble. Mr. Punchy goes off, and now Catwoman is just beating on him with the whip. Brojo putting a lot of damage on Asylum Kanata.
I think Asylum is just going to keep bullying, though, because he has that poke from Mr. Punchy. He's kind of at an advantage, despite the fact that he's against 2. If he plays it right, he could probably get a double kill on these 2.
He might be it. Well, there goes the President Brojo with a couple teeth hanging on Catwoman. That really hampers her agility. And Bro's going in for Zod, but they're so close to the turret they can't commit. And, you know, it's hard to really put damage on Zod when he's got Poison Ivy right there, healing him up every second of the way.
Yeah, it seems that Vexx in the bottom lane, they're being quite aggressive, but I don't think that's going to pan out really well for them when you're against Poison Ivy.
MXL is doing a decent job. I mean, the turret is only taking a tiny bit of damage so far. Yes, you know, S to the O is kind of pushing around a Cyborg a bit, but with Flash, you're not expecting to win the lane. Your goal is to survive until late game.
Yep, and I mean, it's too early to say that anybody is establishing too much. It looks like Vexx is on the pushy side, even in the bottom lane. They're focusing on the wave clear and just kind of bullying them back to the turret. Mid lane, obviously, Cyborg versus the Flash would be doing that sort of thing. We're actually seeing a little bit of, despite the fact that there's a Poison Ivy, she's a completely full will, and Zod is half health. You think she would want to put on her heals a little bit quicker?
Yeah, not really spamming the skills to get that passive going super active, but it also means that, like you said, she is at full will, so she can continue casting spells at, I guess, a more measured pace throughout this lane.
I think that eventually we'll see Atomic Poison Ivy, though her crowd control is strong. I don't think they'll have the same offensive capabilities.
Yeah, she's kind of using her crowd control abilities as pokes because they do a little bit of damage as well, but I guess that's the way you have to play her in a situation where you have the lane push and they're kind of near their turret, so you can't dive on them. And it's worth some damage, but like you said, it's not the same poke that you see from a Gaspat, a Poison Ivy, or a Zatanna.
So the phase pods have touched down. The phase pods meaning that whomever first touches one of the phase pods defines where the raider spawns. So it can either be in the top or the bottom in the middle of the jungle. And then sometime after the raider spawns, regardless of whether anybody goes for it or not, the Leviathan, which is basically the strongest drone that you'll ever meet in Infinite Crisis thus far, also spawns, and that's more of an endgame objective. And speaking of objectives, we're seeing that a lot of contesting is going on up here. African actually comes in and takes that Pulse Destroyer. Crashy taking so much damage. Oh. Catwoman, do the trip, do the thing. Oh, just the whip.
And there's a heal pod there too, so it could have been almost a bait in some ways. But we saw why he got that teleport there. If he didn't have that teleport, that EMP drone probably would have gone to Team Vexx. But as is, Absolute Legends got that drone kill. And African, they were able to do a lot of damage on Crashy, which means African kind of invade the jungle of Team Vexx.
That was definitely a really good play. It may seem kind of like a minor objective
Zod.
in comparison.
Whew, barely able to swing out of there in time. That was dangerous for Zod. And a panic and vulnerability like, uh-oh.
It's like that delayed reaction. It's almost like his finger was on it and he was like, well, I've committed.
Yeah, might as well use it. Ooh, African was thinking of going in for S to the O Cyborg, but that surveillance camera, I think, saw him coming and Cyborg backs away. He's going back home, which is interesting. Maybe he just really wants to pick up some extra drop. Yeah, he wants to get an extra camera. Probably wants to refill all his pots as well. For
those who don't know, the reason why it seemed a little bit odd is because you can actually buy from the turret, and he was completely full health and only suffering in the will department. So you don't have to go back. If you can afford not to, it's actually really good to stay and kind of press your advantage.
And it looks like, you know, you mentioned it before, I'm so surprised that it seems like at the bottom it's Team Vexx that continues to be really able to push the lane and force the reduced credits from tower kills onto Team Absolute Legends, when Gaspat and Poison Ivy you would think would be an exceptional pair of champions to really push the lane. I definitely agree with you in that regard. I am a little surprised, but they could just be a little bit more passive. Maybe they're playing the fool so that they can kind of lure the bottom lane, lure the Vexers into overextending a little bit and just waiting for that opportunity for the gank from Nightmare Batman. That definitely could be it. You know, we also see the top lane. While Joker's been pushing the lane, Brojo's able to put some damage out on Asylum Kanata, and Brojo is actually ahead in experience, level 6 versus level 5.
I think the Catwoman we're going to see her kind of snowball because she has that credit farming, which doesn't seem like that much, and really in the end it doesn't make her like an overpowered farmer by any means, but her ability to just use the whip strike and not have to worry about taking any damage from the drones is so powerful, because she can trade without taking any damage herself. If she throws her whip strike and then acrobats away before any damage is dealt to her, it's just like, oh, take the free damage.
Well, Catwoman's taking a little bit of a beating here to Joker, but African's here with Nightmare Batman. If he gets his level 6, he did get just level 6 right there. That means his ultimate is up. And Nightmare Batman has one of the scariest ultimates as far as just taking down a single target as fast as possible.
It looks like Bros, as Atomic Poison Ivy, just claimed first blood in the bottom lane, probably due to the Doomsday gank by Crashy. Is Crashy not building a troll build? Nah. He looks like he's going pretty legit.
Yeah, it's Marauder Knife so far. We'll have to see. You know, he hasn't really committed any build quite yet. It's too early in the game, but so far it looks like lifesteal and damage, which is very different from some Doomsdays we've seen in the past who go pure life and different power armor, will, different kind of auras to help them in a team battle. But here we go, MXL going in on Cyborg. He's going to back away, puts a little bit of damage on. That's kind of the best you can expect with Flash quite now in the game.
It's somewhat of an even trade. Flash has to make sure he lands that flash attack and that F equals MA to be able to trade with Cyborg. Even if Cyborg doesn't land his Q, I think just being able to... Whoa, looks like he actually went in for another combo on him.
And, you know, I think he's being able to force Cyborg kind of back, but Cyborg doesn't want to go back quite yet. He wants to kind of shark around here, but being at low life, oh, nice. A health drop for Flash, health and will. He's going to pick that up, and now Cyborg is probably going to be forced out of the lane.
Good team play from Brojo, so you don't have to be the jungler to pick up the beacons and the base. And he saw that, you know, there was a little bit of pain going on with the Flash, but knowing that the Flash is doing so well, he was like, here, buddy, take this. And now he's nearly at full resources all over again.
You know, what's interesting is talking about Crashy. If we look at the composition, Crashy is going to be the guy who you want to be the tankiest on the team, right? He's going to be the guy up front, probably a lot of initiative. Well, actually, I guess maybe not, because Bros could be building a really tanky Atomic Poison Ivy.
Yeah, she could be going kind of support tank, maybe getting some R items and just general tankiness.
Yeah, I think that's right, because if you look at Crashy, when he's going for this Marauder Knife, that usually implies you only want to really level that up if you're going for more of a damage route and you want that lifesteal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we're going to see him be more of a damaging bruiser, whereas we're going to see Bros play the more kind of initiation, enforcer, crowd control, and all the different champions.
Doomsday scales really well with base damage in general. It looks like we actually have Bros going in on both of them, kind of stopping Zod. Oh, but the Batflight just goes right through everything, so he was like, I'm not fighting this.
More dueling here with Brojo and Asam Kanata. A couple whips go down on Joker, and I don't think you like that too much, but he's going to look to return the favor using Mr. Punchy.
You would think Joker liked pain.
You would think so. He's kind of a crazy guy. Maybe masochistic a bit, maybe sadistic a bit. Here in the bottom, misses a root strike on Bros, but MXL is there with the pursuit and Flash, having to back away. When again, turret range. African drops the EMP though, and now Flash is in hot pursuit.
Ooh, MXL, you're gonna get that, Bros. I believe in you. Nope, never mind. I don't believe in you. My faith was misplaced. I'm just kidding. It was pretty close, actually. Bros did a good job of kiting away, and that was a good EMP usage, but I think it was a little bit of a delay on that side.
Yeah, and look at this. Coming in from all angles. All of a sudden, Absolute Legends is in a lot of trouble, having to back away here.
Great juke from MXL.
Yeah, it was a great juke, but, I mean, they still picked up a kill there at the bottom. Actually, 2 kills, excuse me. Both Sod and African went down.
But check it out, it looks like Asylum Kanata went down to Brojo in the top lane, and that's completely uncontested. He's going to do some scratching and
might
kicking.
Go down, actually.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage. But meanwhile, at the bottom, a big push here, capitalizing on those 2 kills. Vexx Gaming pushing in. Oh, but Crashy goes down. Bros goes down.
Good vulnerability on MXL. He basically baited them and secured those 2 kills.
I mean, he did die, but it was absolutely worth it. They kept the tower alive, and they got a pair of kills.
Yep, and now Brojo taking the safe route, going back. Asylum Kanata has had time to return, but with Brojo going back and without having his own teleport, and by that I mean Catwoman's unique stolen power teleport, which has a reduced cooldown, I don't know that he's going to be able to contest, or it looks like Asylum Kanata is ignoring that top drone. I think that he should have gone for that EMP.
Yeah, that's a nice pick. Maybe he just really wants to put damage on a turret, but he's got to be careful. African's coming in from the top. He's going invisible. I
don't think he should fight this, actually. Asylum is going to be able to put out some more damage.
All the drones there as well. If any stun on African and the drones would just beat him in that situation.
It is good, though. African showing his face up there is going to make Asylum Kanata a little bit more wary. Now is a good time to be going for that. He's got Crashy and Bros in the sidelines, and I think that there's no idea of those in the top lane that they're lurking there.
Yeah, this could be a little bit of bait from Asylum Kanata. Uh-oh, there they come out. African, did you overextend? Look how fast he goes down. A great setup right there by Team Vexx.
Yeah, that was a perfect play, actually. Brojo immediately acrobated out of there. So not only did they lose one, they lost that Pulse Destroyer, but it's definitely, they're not out of the running yet. That was just a little bit of a mishap.
Yeah, it does look like Vexx is getting the upper hand. More kills, more credits on her team. Zatanna trying to run down Zod, but Poison Ivy slowing her down a bit. But actually, Poison Ivy could be in danger now. Fatal Uno is going to just keep bossing around the entire bottom lane here.
Wow.
Oh, no. Akio got... Oh, a nice ultimate there. Trying to force... Zod is just playing with fire here, man.
They are flirting with death. Ooh,
This
don't
is-
stand in the heel. Yeah, she might have been tempted, you know.
But here's MXL. Zatanna's at about a third life, going in on half. MXL could come in with the flash attack. Oh, there's the camera seeing it, and Fatal Uno backs away in time.
That was pretty impressive play, that 1v2. Granted, you know, Absolute Legends was pretty low, but they were able to do pretty well there regardless.
You know, Absolute Legends is losing some of the lanes, but MXL has been able to stay up in credits. You can see MXL 3,700 as opposed to SDO 4,300. Not too big of a difference, and that kind of speaks to Flash actually doing really well in the mid lane. Well, they've been kind of losing the top and bottom lanes. The mid lane has been going fairly even, which you usually expect to lose when you put Flash as a solo mid laner.
And you know what? I think that even though Absolute Legends seems to be a little bit on the losing side right now, they scale way better into the late game. Once Catwoman gets a couple of her damage items, she's freaking devastating. And, you know, Doomsday, he's strong in late game, but Doomsday and Atomic Poison Ivy not going to be able to put out the damage that they really want to.
Looks like Vexx going for the Raider. Atomic Poison Ivy going to play crowd control on Flash, and they're going to grab that Raider pickup quite easily. Cyborg's going to pick up that Giant Surveillance Tower. Flash trying to be annoying, but he has to back away. 1-on-4, not really what you want to do, even with Brojo coming in there from the top.
Looks like they did relinquish the bottom turret for that, so I don't know that that's even necessarily the best decision, because now that they're aware that they have that surveillance tower, they're probably going to be on the lookout for it and take it out. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of an eye for an eye in this case.
Now, where did that surveillance tower go? Looks like it went down. It's hard to tell. Oh, here it is. They actually played it back defensively. I think they realized that, okay, Absolute Legends knows we have this. If we try to put aggressively on your side of the map, they'll find and take it out. So they actually placed it back more on their side of the map in a spot that it's not as easy to get it and take out for Absolute Legends.
There seems to be some like-mindedness. The entirety of both teams going for this. Doomsday going ham, Crashy just forces Flash away, and African getting caught out at the very midst of that might end up going down.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what exactly happens in the situation. There we go. A lot of mana ensuring. No one goes down quite yet. Oh, Burrows. Zod swings in there, finishes off Burrows. That's the first kill of this engagement. Meanwhile, Champion's running absolutely everywhere. This turret may go down, but it does look like Zod was taken out as well. Now Crashing going on MXL. He's taken out by the turret aggro and then, of course, the combined damage. And now MXL in hot pursuit, but he's always so low.
Ooh, as to the you just got to turn around it. There you go. Zatanna comes in and just snipes him. Akio does not want any part of this. That turret is way too low.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to go down. Meanwhile, Absolute Legends is in pretty much full retreat here. Brojo here at the top, but hopefully, looks like there's a connection error, guys. I apologize. We're going to try to get back in the game as soon as possible. In the meantime, it looks like it's been kind of give and take. Vexx Gaming definitely looking like they're... the Vexx Gaming looking like they're doing fairly well right now. But like you said earlier, Megan, things can turn around quickly because we do have Flash and Catwoman that both scale really well in the late game. Whereas Vexx Gaming, I would say Cyborg scales super well in the late game.
Yeah.
But the rest of the champions don't scale quite as well as either Flash or Catwoman.
And if there's anything we learned from Advi, Cyborg scaling into late game doesn't matter when a whole bunch of people jump onto you and delete you from life.
I mean, it's almost something where maybe you need to get that Ra's al Ghul robe if you're late game Cyborg, because you know the whole team's going to jump you, because that's kind of what happens. So Ra's al Ghul is kind of the way. Okay, they're all going to jump me. I might die. well, at least I'll come back. Or maybe Neuron's contract can help you with that as well.
It's true, and you know why that's really good? Because it kind of just it makes you blow your cooldowns, and then Ra's al Ghul's robe brings you back. All of the enemies' ults are down, or at least like the cycle of their cooldowns are messed up. So once they pull focus to somebody else or wait around for you to revive, your team can just be putting in work. So it's really good. It's really good on everybody, honestly. You don't just have to be a marksman or a blaster or a squishy person to have it on somebody, especially like Atomic Poison Ivy. I don't know what it is. Maybe the wings just look cool with the thorns or something, but people get it on Atomic Poison Ivy all the time, and it's probably just for that really frustrating. It brings you back some of your will, so you can cast your spells again even if you've exhausted it in the fight prior. So I think that generally the Troll Robe is one of the most sought after artifacts in the game.
Troll Robe, I like it. A great name for that. We should be able to get right back in the game again. Apologies for that disruption there. But the question is, when we're back in it, that mid tower definitely went down for Absolute Legends. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And were they able to kind of stem the bleed at that point, or has some more damage gone underway?
Well, let's find out. We did just get right back into the game, and as we can see, that mid tower did go down.
And looks like actually the top turret, we have S to the O along with Crashy pushing that down. Africa's going to try to defend, and I think they're going to back away. They do not want to fight a mean Nightmare Batman under that turret.
No, you know, African being able to just kind of pull out that suppression Feral Embrace would not be something that you really wanted.
I actually really like using Flash as a split pusher here. He's really good at escaping. He also, if you can feed him credits, that's great, because we saw it with that game with Nick. If you can get, you know, if you can get your Starheart maxed out, you get a bunch of maxed out power damage items, so you can just erase champions from the board.
So it's interesting. We see a lot of convergence on the mid lane, and I'm not sure what maybe there's some sort of gravitational pull, or just like maybe it's just the most open spot, you know, because they can decide to go top or bot from it.
It's really Vexx that's really been pushing these big pushes. I mean, they sense that they have the advantage now. They want to try to use that advantage to maybe take down a dampener, and they feel the middle lane is the best thing to do it. But if they aren't able to get anything done with this push, we do have MXL just farming. He's going to take the EMP drone and continue to farm this bottom lane. So they do need something to counterbalance that. Looks like they can go for this Raider yet again.
Yeah, their objective control is pretty dang impressive. Now they got another one of those surveillance towers, and they can place it at their leisure.
Okay, so MXL is not going to continue to push along bottom. I don't know if I'm surprised by that or not. I mean, I guess when they lost vision of the other team, Flash can escape well, but there is no surveillance cameras in this area. And even if you're Flash, if you get hit by chain stuns from Doomsday charging you, Mr. Punchy, Atomic Poison Ivy, you will be taken out very quickly.
He didn't take Flash's super speed either, so he can't really split push with complete safety in that regard. That's
true. I mean, invulnerability is of course a great thing as Flash. It gives him some durability, and you really want those cameras to make sure he has vision. But we can see Team Absolute Legends, they need to reestablish cameras. They have some cameras defensively, but as they push forward, they're kind of going into the darkness. They don't really have too much vision in this area.
That's true, but they can't really risk unless they go in a perfect form putting them out there, because if they just kind of run into a stealth pad and get ambushed, they're not going to last long.
No, if you wander off by your own, it's very, very scary. Now we have Asylum Kanata counter-pushing that bottom, undoing to work that Flash in. Oh, here's Burrows. Catwoman's on the case, but S to the O with his Cyborg forces Absolute Legends back. And Absolute Legends now is a team that's all massed in the middle, ready to push. And it's Team Vexx is trying to regroup and defend its location.
Asylum Kanata is actually coming around, might consider flanking. Nope, he's just kind of joining from the front and trying to push them away to Mr. Punchy. Now that a license plate has taken about a third of his health, he can't really just dive in there unless he intends on using his ultimate. Oh, well, actually, he got that health back from the health node, so never mind. Disregard what I was saying.
We do have Vexx Gaming pushing to get into middle hard here, but against all 5 Absolute Legends, do they have an EMP? Yes, Doomsday has the EMP. They could use that to try to go in on this tower. But in a 5-on-5, the EMP doesn't last forever. So you have to be really, really careful, because if that tower gets un-EMP'd at a moment where you're not expecting it, it can really, really finish off a couple of your champions.
That's definitely true. I think that all that needs to happen is they need to put out maybe half of its health before they intend to dive onto it, or try to bait them into it. It looks like Brojo took a pretty big chunk of damage.
Yeah, Mr. Punchy's a scary. I mean, there's a lot of poke here from Vexx. Joker, Mr. Punchy, Fatal Uno with Satana, and of course Cyborg can just poke using his basic attack. It's pretty much like an ability every hit there.
Yeah, in order to poke, they need Poison Ivy, who isn't expected to put out a lot of damage as support, and Catwoman needs to kind of get up close and personal to be able to land her whip. So.
Oh, I think they may be going in now. Will that EMP drop? Not quite yet. Doomsday gets knocked out there. They're just kind of staying back. They're playing a little bit slower.
It's safer.
Yes, absolutely safer.
It's a war of attrition.
It's a war of attrition, and it's. I mean, everyone's still at max life pretty much right now. Accio takes some damage there, but should be healed without a problem. Root Strike doesn't hit anyone. A great kind of split there from Team Vexx.
I think this turret might be just, you know.
Oh, they're going in right now. Where's the EMP? Not even using it. Wow, this turret's taking a lot of damage on Crashy. No EMP. Was that a mistake? Crashy goes down. Bros takes a lot of damage, but it looks like they were able to take out 3 from Absolute Legends, so I guess they didn't need that EMP.
Yeah, 2 for 3, and the turret down. Probably worth.
Not bad, but this is still 2 heavily scary champions. They can dish out a lot of damage, so I mean, I guess S to the O and Fatal Uno aren't too worried about the 2-on-2.
Nah.
Zod is a little under-leveled. Yeah.
Oh, and I also wanted to point out that I believe that Crashy did not use that EMP because he was immediately ulted by African underneath the turret.
Okay, so he was always stunned.
Yeah.
So that was a great job by African. Ordinarily, you might want to use an ultimate on a Cyborg, but if you know it's Doomsday who has the EMP, you want to make sure he can't get that off and your tower can do as much damage as possible.
Yep. So it looks like there's a bit of a disparity. Steadily, it seems that Vexx is increasing its lead against Absolute Legends. But as we've said before, Absolute Legends are playing champions that scale really well into the late game. So if Vexx isn't able to push their advantage and secure a swift victory, we'll probably see some really staunch opposition from Absolute Legends, just considering from the sheer power the champions will bring to the table.
So it's unclear what these teams' plans are right now. They're kind of spreading out, re-getting vision. Vexx is, wow, this top turret went down to the drones pretty much. Yes, it does go down. And that's a nice pickup for Team Absolute Legends. The drones doing a lot of work for them. Africans trying to farm up in the jungle quite a bit. Let's take a look at some of the artifacts that these champions are building.
Let's see. Asylum Kanata going for that Dr. Destiny's Dreamstone, give him that will balance. The Neron's Contract for Safety, not yet complete, so he does not have the stasis effect. And the power penetration from the Cosmic Belt is definitely a good choice, combined with the survivability of the health. They've actually got mostly damage. Even Zatanna is building more offensively. She doesn't really have any will going on there. She's just kind of going all for that deeps.
Very aggressive, whereas Absolute Legends, even a champion like Flash, instead of going for Fatality's Energy Lance or some just straight power damage, he's actually went for Abinsur's Lantern early, and that's more of an item that it doesn't actually help you too much at this point in the game, but if you get to that late game, and it becomes an incredibly powerful item. So as opposed to how Nick played Flash, where he was just kind of strong in the mid and the late game, we're going to see MXL be a little bit weaker in the mid game, but then be an absolute beast if he gets to that super late game.
Yeah, I can't wait until and/or if he picks up a Psy Scimitar, we're going to see just some stupid explosion burst from him.
We'll see if that happens, but right now it's Vexx that continues to put under pressure. This top turret is in danger. Actually, that's so low. I don't see any way that Absolute Legends can actually keep this turret alive.
No EMP on them, but not like they needed for that.
Yeah.
Might be going for the dampener immediately
Oh
after,
no, Zod,
though.
be careful. Whew.
The infinite tunneling
no.
from the Bramble Rapture catches Zod out despite the invulnerability. Oh, the bunny into the bunny goes down to that basic attack from Cyborg.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that was just nothing but a mistake from Team Absolute Legends. 2 of their champions kind of went the wrong way around and got caught off guard, and Zod paid the price.
I think they had 2 decisions there, which is either to back away and let Zod die.
Are they going to dive this dampener? I feel like they might have. Oh no, they're going to dive this turret. Okay,
yeah.
that's a safer play. They don't want to be stuck between.
You can't dive at undamageable things.
That's true. You can't kill until the turret went down. The way they were moving, I was like, it just kind of seemed like that, but they're just wrapping around and putting some pressure on bottom lane, backing away a bit. Nice camera there, right in the face of.
No, that's actually really good though.
Yeah, it is. It's great. it's so bold to put a camera there, but no one would expect. Yeah, they don't expect it. That's pretty funny. They found this camera, the sneaky one, but the one that's like right in their face, hiding in plain sight. That's the best spot to put it.
Hiding in plain sight. I mean, it's just hiding perpetually.
Yeah.
There's no way of revealing it at all.
No, I mean, the only way you can really spot those cameras is using X-ray vision. Which, why would you use it?
Exactly.
Right in that
I
location?
think there is a camera right here in this completely innocuous spot.
Meanwhile, we do have, we have Team Vexx backing. Oh, they got an EMP. They've got a health drop.
Look at those delectable
They already have, there's
beacons.
going to be 2 EMPs because Atana has one too.
So it's just as good as having tier 2.
Yeah, so it could be better or worse. It's better because you can spread them out, which could be good.
Double true damage.
Exactly. Double true damage, you can do more damage. You can also, if you only need 4 seconds, you can use one on one location and have another one later. But it can be worse because if you just want 8 seconds, you have to time them perfectly to get that same effect with
Communication
2.
is
Yes.
really important in that regard. If you both drop them at the same time, it's just like, well, I guess they're extra dumb.
Double EMP'd. Even the champions can't use it to do anything.
Oh my
That'd be
god.
pretty, yeah, that's not going to happen. So
Rough.
it does look like they're, okay, Joker's going to push the bomb lane. They're kind of threatening in the middle while they're going for a split push on bottom. STDO is just running around like crazy using his extra cyborg energy mode.
Yeah, Absolute Legends is really forced back. I think they're thinking that middle dampener is the one that's going to be taking some damage because they've been hanging out around there more than anything. But at the same token, they have no turrets left. They're literally pushed to their dampener in every single facet. So, I mean, just look at all those cameras on the map from Vexx too.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, this is like the dimensional wall of vision. So it's pretty much making a line across the map here. But I really like what they're doing. They all went to the middle, but then when Absolute Legends kind of said, okay, we're going to defend this dampener, they're like, you know what? Why don't we just split off, make sure our champions can push all the lanes, grab some extra, credits, some farms, some more drops. And we know that Absolute Legends, they're not benefiting right now. They're all stuck in the middle. They're not really getting much farm or credits or any benefits going on.
It's true, and in some regard, I mean, Doomsday split pushing, not a big deal. Kanata split pushing, not a big deal because they both got teleport, and they can just decide to pop in on a fight at any point in time. So they are so strong in their own regard too that I don't think they would have trouble split pushing. I could imagine even them just like boldly teleporting in the face of people fighting them, which I never see anybody do, but it sounds hilarious.
Well, we'll see if, yeah, we can see that happen. I mean, we can see the same thing from African, perhaps, as he does have teleport. He can rejoin his team. I think that's why Absolute Legends was like, we can't sit here and do nothing in the middle. We need to have some people farm, so they send African down bottom. They're sending MXL up top. But now comes the big 5-man push from Vexx.
And the moment they actually split away from the defense of the middle dampener is the time that Vexx decides to push the defensive Gaslight Batman ultimate and dropping even just a little bit of true damage from that health beacon.
And of course, they can pick that up as well to gain some life. So far, good defense from Absolute Legends, but again, they had to reform their whole team to make this defense happen.
And EMP dubs, right?
That's a nice little surveillance camera, even more obvious in front of them now. They keep crawling this vision.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Not much to be done. Vexx continues to posh in front. There goes the EMP. They're going in for the dampener.
Yeah, that's going down. Looks like African picking a target, immediately heads onto S to the O. Cyborg taking some damage. Oh, 2 invulnerabilities from the squishies, but they force African back. Even though they weren't even trying to deal damage, there was just so much opposition from Crashy and Fatal Uno, just damaging from afar. And now they still have the EMP on Zatanna, so if she gets in there, no guys, don't do it. I know you can do more damages. All right, fine, whatever.
Yeah, they're playing extra safe. They're backing away a bit.
It's good though. No, it's definitely good. If you don't want to push your advantage in a way that's going to end up converting it into the negative effect.
You know what was a really big item there, I think, was a Neuron's contract from Asylum Kanata, because Absolute Legends really focused him first. He popped that stasis field. If you see here, it does the blood bargain. You gain a massive shield. You can't do anything, but you gain this master shield that basically makes you almost invulnerable for 3 seconds. If they continue focusing you, they just waste all that damage.
That's definitely true. It's actually a lot more efficient than it was before. It just put you in stasis and you were unable to even be targeted, so it immediately stops people from attacking you, whereas the shield kind of baits people into trying to focus on you, even though it's almost just like they should ignore you in the same way that stasis worked.
I don't know if I've ever seen any team actually break that shield before it would go away by default anyway.
100 per level with a base of 500.
Yeah. And it's only for 3 seconds, so if you wait 3 seconds, it goes away on its own. But wasting 3 seconds of damage trying to take that shield is a really big deal.
It's a similar feeling to Ra's al Ghul's robe. When somebody's dead and reviving, you don't really need to wait around for them to come back. You just need to be aware of when they revive. Looks like Vexx is picking up this Raider once again. Do they even need that surveillance tower? We have so many cameras everywhere. Just, you know what? I want them to just go plop it right on their power core.
Well, they have one here and one here. They've got these giant cameras going. Yeah, just put it like, how about put it like right here where it wouldn't
Yeah,
take,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, it's actually visible to the
Yeah,
enemy
it's
team, so
on
that would
like-
just be the biggest insult. Like, yeah, go for this right here. But maybe it's like a pro next level bait.
Yeah, that's true. And then they all go to kill, and you take out one of the dampeners when you're a little bit out of position.
We must kill the vision that they already have.
That'd be pretty funny. Brojo's gonna try to farm a little bit on the top, and we haven't seen. We talked about how Brojo and MXL could really become those powerful assassins in the late game. They haven't been able to get to that point. If we take a look at the credits, Brojo at 7,000, MXL at 8,500, whereas if you look at all of Vexx, they're at 10, 11,000 for the most part.
Oof.
And so even though Catwoman and Flash scale well in the late game, they're level 14, level 15, and they're several thousand credits behind, so they haven't gotten to that late game yet, whereas Vexx, they're pretty much at the late game. Their champions are a lot of them are max level, or they're closing in on max level 17s, with a significant credit advantage.
I mean, they on Absolute Legends side have not really had any respite. They've been so brutalized by Vexx that they haven't had the chance to send somebody to get solo lane experience because that's just the opportunities are too much for Vexx.
There goes the EMP. Another dampener goes down very, very quickly, giving them some additional credits. They're still at max life. Brojo trying to use the whip, but stunned a bit. Dropping a health regen. That's pretty nice, but actually not even going to use that. They're circling around. They want to get the third dampener. They're circling around to get it. Oh, but Asylum Kanata gets caught out of position. They pick him off in the back. Bro's taking a lot of damage. And all of a sudden, Absolute Legends starting to turn this around. MXL has a really good ability to chase.
Everybody's focusing Bros. What did I tell you about that Atomic Poison Ivy with wings? As to the O just turns around and cyborgs Catwoman to death.
Wow.
Oh, unfortunately, Poison Ivy falls to Zatanna. Good play by Fatal Uno. Now this dampener is just right for the taking. Third dampener going down. They don't have any EMPs left.
Oh, there's Flash.
Ooh,
What can he do? The ultimate gets a kill on Cyborg, but Zatanna.
Wow, that perfectly timed skewer.
Wow.
Just immediately when he came out of that ult was like, later.
I think Absolute Legends saw a weakness there. Oh, nice move
Whoa.
there. Wow. Zod gets a kill on Fatal Uno. I think Absolute Legends saw a weakness when they picked up that kill on Asylum Kanata, and they were so eager to push on and take out the rest of Team Vexx. But what happened is basically Cyborg got behind Atomic Poison Ivy and Doomsday, and he turned around and had cover. And the Cyborg who has cover just dishes out damage so fast.
Yeah, at this point, I think once all of Vexx revives and makes a push for it, there's no, besides the middle dampener.
Yeah, that should be back up.
Yeah, but that's not, it's definitely not enough to save them from the fate of 22k credit difference. And just simply looking at the team composition and knowing that nobody was really able to scale, there's nobody who can dive in there. What is African building?
African is going.
Fragment of Mogo, so he does
Okay,
have that
so he's
fair bit
kinda
of
tanky.
tankiness. But, regardless, when you look at all the stuff they have over there, how is he supposed to contest that?
Yeah, I think the way he's building is he's saying, okay, my ultimate locks someone down, then if they focus me, I'll survive a bit.
I wonder if you can actually activate. I think you might be able to activate Fragment of Mogo while using
while
ultimate,
using
or at
ultimate?
least immediately after.
Yeah.
So that is a pretty neat pickup for Nightmare Batman, but I think African has just not been able to get in there and sustain the damage.
MXL is here clearing the jungle, but they know about it with this giant surveillance tower right there. He's going to get out, though. Flash is pretty fast. And Absolute Legends is retreating, but they did take a nice little moment of time there to kind of try to farm just a little bit while Vexx is kind of just regrouping and trying to get ready for a final push. Or what they hope is the final push.
It seems to always come down to this middle lane.
Yeah. Well, I think Vexx really loves pushing the middle lane. It seems like that's where they want things to happen. Again, this dampener is back up, but it's much easier to take down now as it was taken down earlier in this match. And there is an EMP. Doomsday loves those EMPs.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of matches his suit. He's got the
It
wings
does.
too, the blue,
Yeah.
the blue ball, the blue wings.
That's a pretty looking Doomsday. They've got Atomic Poison Ivy and Doomsday have Rosal Ghouls up. Dampener is going to go down. Doomsday kind of distracts the team while they take down the dampener. Oh, poor Brojo.
Oh no!
Oh, going in on necessarily Flash and Nightmare Batman taken out very quickly. Flash ultimate goes down, crashing low on life, but he does have Rosal Ghul still. African going to try to take him out. Flash going for Fatal Uno. It takes out Fatal Uno. MXL is starting to get to that Flash point where he's almost ridiculous, but is it too little too late?
I'm going to have to say that is the case. Too little too late. Crashy so low. Still got his wings, though. They're going to get both of those turrets, and that power core isn't going to be alive for more than 6 seconds. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kill it faster, 5. It's like, damn it!
All right, it's about
like
7.
2 seconds.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, maybe like 3.5 seconds.
You were close. You were close.
I'm a poor estimate of time. I thought better of them.
You did. Well, you know, they didn't have Cyborg, so a lot of their base damage is kind of gone. They had mostly Doomsday and Atomic Poison Ivy taking out the Power Core, and it's not quite as much burst. You know, at the very end there, we started to see, you know, Flash starting to get that late game damage. Once he got that blue scare maxed out, he was starting to really just get some insane damage output, but it was too little too late. He was never able to complete Evancer's Lantern to really get that power damage spike from chaining off Will. And I mean, Team Vexx was just, I mean, just S to the O. Look at his setup. He had Max Joe Chills, Max Soul Taker's Katana, Max Deathstroke's Claymore, and Max Velocity Implants.
I think he didn't. Well, so he did have the health pack, but like aside from that, what the heck? Oh, on the will pack. I think he had like enough credits to not have those slots open, but like just the amount of damage he was putting out was like disgusting. And look at just the assists. Just everybody is so together. I don't know, Vexx, I'm actually really impressed with their teamwork. It seemed like things were kind of going back and forth a little bit, but the moment they got that little bit of a lead, they blew us out of the water.
They really did. You know, and it was kind of surprising because we're talking about Absolute Legends. When they were under NSG, they looked really strong in IC Winter Open. But you know, and they still look strong now. But Vexx is a team that they were in IC Winter Open, they were playing well, but they looked like they were just a little bit behind maybe the KGB or Absolute Legends.
Right.
But right here, they looked very strong. They had, you know, they knew when to split push, they knew when to group up, and they did a great job of always getting all the objectives as a team.
Yeah, I think that their team composition was all around a little bit more synergized than prior.
Yeah.
So it's impressive. It's awesome to see how much Vexx has grown as a team.
Well, congratulations to Team Vexx. They're going to advance into the winner bracket semifinal. Absolute Legends has to be disappointed with that loss, but they're not out of the tournament yet. They're going to drop down to the lower bracket, where if they keep doing well, they can make the comeback route, and we'll see them later in the tournament as long as they keep winning. Of course, tomorrow is going to be the last match of the first round. The winner of tomorrow's match will go up against Vexx in winner bracket semifinal number 2. That match is going to be a Clever Gaming mirror in a way. You have Clever Gaming Syndicate against Clever Gaming Origin. I think a big question is Clever Gaming Origin lost African. He went over to Absolute Legends. So I know they found a replacement, but have they had that practice to really get their new team as coordinated as they were in the past? We'll have to wait and see, because that match is happening tomorrow.
Yeah, so be there.
Be there.